downtown ain't no game right now. You know, people are out here losing their lives every single day.
We begin at 5 with Portland's homeless and drug crisis in downtown. It has been a top concern for police who've responded to numerous overdoses in recent days. Thank you for joining us. I'm Laurel Porter.
And I'm David Molko. As we've been reporting, it appears the biggest current challenge, and one that's been called an open-air drug market by some, surrounds a vacant downtown building on Southwest 4th and Washington. Blair Best has an update this evening, including a new order from Portland's mayor.
A sliver of sunlight exposes signs of abandonment on the walls of this vacant building downtown Portland, one that's become a magnet for drug use and those who feel equally as ignored.
The addicts are going to be around this area. I think that this block has given people a place to go.
Until now, Portland police are doing 24/7 foot patrols around the block. It's Mayor Ted Wheeler's latest attempt to curb what he calls extreme conditions there, such as open-air drug use and overdoses, something Antonio knows all too well.
I don't know if you could tell by these structures in my face or not, like, you know, I'm an addict, you know what I'm saying?
Late last month, Portland police responded to 11 overdoses near this block. 3 people died.
We're holding our homeboys and our homegirls, and they're dying in front of us.
How many of your friends have you seen die?
You really want me to answer you? Because it's going to make those police look like they're not doing their thing.
Portland police say they patrol the area only to find drug dealers move in right after they leave. Now, we talked with the officers out Tuesday who tell us if they see people using drugs, they'll check to see if they have an active warrant. Otherwise, per Measure 110, they give a warning or citation.
They jam people up, they run our names when we have petty warrants, and they take us to jail. And that is lame as
Antonio doesn't see it as a long-term solution.
There needs to be more things in the street, more services, more, you know, all they tell you is to go to treatment. That's it. They're not really educating people on why we hurt, on where the hurt comes from.
Now, while these patrols seem to be working on this corner of Southwest 4th and Washington, right across the street are tents and groups of people using drugs right on the sidewalk.
It has caused us to come into one area because we have nowhere else to go.
The increased police presence getting praise from the owners of the vacant building, known as Washington Center. A spokesperson for the property tells KGW it has created an immediate positive impact in the area. It also caught the attention of Governor Tina Kotek at a press conference earlier this week.
We are trying to add more officers through the training programs and making sure that there are the resources when folks are experiencing overdose. It's unacceptable to have that type of open air activity in our major city.
It's the resources Portland's drug users need, especially people like Antonio, who feel abandoned in broad daylight, just like the building he flocks to.
Just like I said, man, we're hurting, and we see that nobody gives, you know, a care about us. So it's almost as if, why should we care about ourselves?
It's not clear how long these patrols will go on for, and there's also talk of the city boarding up certain alcoves around the building. In Southwest Portland, Blair Best, KGW News.
Meanwhile, the city has resumed clearing homeless camps along highways and interstates. You might remember sweeps came to a sudden halt after the city burned through its annual funds from the state. That was in February, and while it took a while to work out, $600,000 is now on the way to remove camps on ODOT property. The city has once again been told these funds need to last at least until the end of June.
New tonight, Portland State University is rearming its campus police force. In a post on its website, school president Stephen Percy wrote, "The change is needed because officers are encountering more weapons on campus, and Portland police are often too busy in other parts of the city to help." This issue goes back to 2018, when PSU officers shot and killed Jason Washington while he was trying to break up a fight outside a campus bar. Following racial justice protests in 2020, PSU officers started patrolling campus unarmed, beginning in September of 2021. The school says that for now, officers have no choice but to carry weapons once again. We'll have more on this story, including a reaction from students, coming up tonight on KGW News at 11.
All right, let's head outside and give you a live look from our Rose City Sky Camera. What a difference a day makes, right? We have seen our share of blue skies and sunny breaks today, and yes, they have felt great. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Matt Zafino this evening. Matt, We knew there was a chance a little spring snow could be coming next. How much are we still talking about?
Not very much at all. In fact, up at Timberline, they had 10 inches new. We won't look like that tomorrow morning in the valley. So we're getting some clearing right now, but it's this band of precipitation that rolls in tomorrow morning that will give us a mix of rain and snow showers. And that's going to get really cold on Thursday morning. So again, we'll likely see some snowflakes even down to the valley floor. Unlikely we get accumulations unless you're up around 1,000 feet. Guys?
Thank you, Matt. Now for an update to a story we've been following since last summer. It involves the bizarre death of a Portland man shot and killed on a hike in Lewis County, Washington. The prosecutor in that county has decided he will not be filing felony criminal charges in the case. He says there's just not enough evidence. Mike Benner has a reaction from the victim's close friends.
Sadly, this is kind of what we expected.
Alex Steininger has been overwhelmed by disappointment since learning the Lewis County prosecutor will not be filing felony charges in the shooting death of his good friend and Portlander, Aaron Christensen.
While it wasn't a shock, it still was a gut punch, and it still hurt a lot and left a lot of unanswered questions and a lot of room for speculation.
It all stems from a camping trip with friends last summer near Wallop Lake in Lewis County, Washington. Christensen and his dog were shot to death while out for a hike. Detectives identified 20-year-old Ethan Asbach and a 17-year-old girl, both Thurston County residents, as the suspects. Asbach's family would tell authorities that while hiking himself, Asbach shot Christensen out of fear, thinking he was a wild animal in the bushes, when in reality,
He was whip smart. He had a really, really dry sense of humor, but could just whip out a joke quickly, anytime. He was a great chef, a great musician.
A man who family and friends say is not getting the justice he deserves, at least for now. In a statement to KGW Tuesday, the Lewis County prosecutor said he's not charging Asbach with felony manslaughter because of a lack of sufficient facts in the case.
It's pretty obvious that the reason they're not going to trial is because they bungled the case so much that they didn't feel confident in getting a guilty verdict.
Ezra Meredith believes it's due to inept law enforcement. Regardless, the prosecutor is reportedly looking at filing misdemeanor charges in the case, to which friends say this.
At this point, that's pretty much just pissing in the ocean. It's a slap on the wrist. It's doing something to do something.
And that explains why friends pledged to continue fighting on behalf of Aaron Christensen.
We couldn't get him in the criminal case, but hopefully we can get some kind of remedy, and not even monetarily, just more answers.
It is worth mentioning we did request an interview with the Lewis County prosecutor, but he sent us that brief statement instead. We'll, of course, stay on top of this and bring you any new updates as we get them. David?
Mike Benner in the newsroom tonight. Thank you, Mike. We are learning more this evening about the horrific murder of a radio cab driver stabbed to death in his taxi Sunday night in southeast Portland. In a probable cause affidavit, prosecutors say an ambulance driver saw the cab driver, now identified as Reese Lawton, slumped over the wheel. The family just released this picture of Lawton. Colleagues describe him as kind and extremely hardworking. According to court documents, the ambulance driver told police 30-year-old Moses Lopez got out of the cab on Water Avenue near Washington Street with bloody clothes and then dropped brass-style knuckles that appeared to have an attached blade. The affidavit went on to reveal that video recorded inside Lawton's cab shows confusion about the passenger's destination. Detectives say as Lawton was trying to figure out the new address, Lopez stabbed him twice in the neck. Lopez is in jail, charged with murder. He's also wanted in Coos County, where records say he allegedly threatened two men with weapons last week.